Let's get started with some really easy coding, some HTML coding in Canvas so that you can take your pages from something like this to something like this. Now, I am not a coder, but I've learned just enough to be able to do some really amazing things with my pages. I want to start with just a blank page, and I want to really start by showing you the basics. I'm going to click Edit, and then I want to add a heading. So I'm going to do this drop-down menu, change that into Heading 2, and I'm just going to say this is a heading. Not very exciting, but I want to show you what the HTML code looks like. So if I scroll down to the bottom of my rich content editor, I've got this little symbol right here, and the symbol is the HTML code editor. So I can click that to toggle over and take a look at what I've got. I've got H2, that was for heading 2. Our title is heading 1. So H2, it opens with that, and then my text, and then it closes with the /H2. HTML is our hypertext markup language, which I had to look up, of course, but what it does is it takes our text and it allows us to do some things with it. If I go back into my rich content editor, I just hit that toggle at the bottom. I'm going to put my cursor on the end. Let's go ahead and hit enter. And now let's type, this is a paragraph. Now let's see what this looks like. So if I click on that toggle, now I've got my H2, my heading 2, opening and closing, and I have my paragraph also opening and closing. So you get a really good idea of how this is set up, which means that you can start to do some amazing things with this. So I want to put a banner on this heading like I've got in this example. So to put a banner on here, I'm going to show you what the code is, but then I'm also going to give you access to the code so you can just copy and paste it in. And I'm going to show you some great free tools that will do the coding for you. Well, mostly will do the coding for you. So after this H2 here, I want to go ahead and put a style in. So I'm going to type in style equals quotes, and then inside the quotes, I'm going to add a color. So I'm going to type background dash color colon, and I want to put a hex code color in. Now, if I've lost you already, don't worry, that's okay, because you're going to be able just to copy and paste this code. I've got my colors in a color picker, and I use this ColorZilla right here. There are so many different color picker add-ons that you can get for your browser. I'm going to choose this one, and I'm going to go to my history, and I really like this brighter blue right here, so I think I'll use this one right here. Notice I've got that color code at the bottom. I'm going to copy that. So Control-C or Command-C if you're on a Mac. And I'm going to put that right next to the background color. It does need a hashtag symbol in front of it, and then Control-V. Whenever I'm done with one of my style items, I'm going to put the semicolon after it. Now I can just do that background color. Let's see what this looks like. I'm going to go back to my rich content editor, and I've got it there, but you can see now that my text is still in black, which I can't read. But I can highlight this. There's still so much that I can do just in the rich content editor. Let's go ahead and change the color of that text. Let's change that to white, and let's see how that shows up in the HTML editor. It changed it into this span right here, and that color FFFFF is white. But notice how I've got this opening span, and then I have this close span here at the end. Now there's a few more things that I want to do with this. I want to put some padding in here as well. So I'm going to change the H2 style, and I'm going to put some padding. This will just give me some space between the edge of that background color and the text. So I'm going to go padding colon, let's do 4 pixels, and then a semicolon. Let's take a look at it. Okay, so it's looking great. But what if I wanted to do something even better? What if I wanted to add a little blue, a brighter blue line at the beginning like I've got in this example here? I don't remember how to do that. I didn't even know how to do all of this, but ChatGPT does a great job. Now I'm going to hit save so I don't mess anything up here. I'm gonna hit save. Let's open it up again. I'm gonna hit edit, and let's ask ChatGPT to change what we've got here in this heading. So I'm gonna go back to my HTML editor. I'm going to highlight that code right there, and then let's do a Control C, and then ChatGPT. Okay, so in ChatGPT, I'm gonna say, can you change this banner so it has a bright blue vertical bar at the beginning, but leave the rest? And I'm gonna do a Shift Enter. You don't have to, it'd be fine if you didn't, I'm just anal. And then I'm gonna do a Control V to paste that code in, or Command V if you're on a Mac. And then let's go ahead and ask it for those changes. Now, to be honest, this is how I've learned how to do a lot of my coding, because ChatGPT not only changes the code for me, but if you scroll down, it explains exactly what it's done. So it's gonna add this bright blue vertical bar. Notice it's using that hex code, and it's also gonna add some rounded corners, which is great. I didn't even ask for that. Let's go ahead and copy this. So I'm just going to copy this and then do a Control C. I guess I could have copied the code there. Back over into my course. I'm going to put this actually underneath this paragraph. So I'm going to put an enter there and then Control V. Let's take a look at what this looks like. Okay, that looks great. Let's see what the code looks like now. So as I look at that code, you are starting to get the hang of it. Here is my opening to that first heading 2, and then notice the /H2 at the end. So open and closed. And then I've got that paragraph. This is a paragraph opened and closed. And then I've got that other heading banner opened and closed. It also added this border radius on. Those are the rounded corners. And it added on that border left. That's that little bright blue bar on the left-hand side. Now there's so many things that we can change. We can change the colors, we can have ChatGPT do those things, but I want to show you one really, really important tool that's easy to miss. Now if I go back to my rich content editor, when you put a heading in or some other code in, notice that I'm no longer able to click here underneath that banner. So I'm going to go back to my HTML code, and I'm going to put my cursor here at the very bottom, and I'm just going to add a little paragraph break. So I'm going to use my pointy brackets, open my paragraph, close pointy brackets, and it knows that it wants that /P2. Now if I go back to my rich content editor, I've got a place that I can put my cursor and continue to work. Now I promise that I've got this code for you. There's a link down in my description. I've got lots of other sample code available for you too on my website, so take a look at that. I would love to know either how you use code or what else you would like to learn. You've got this.